Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Buckeye Report from the Woody Hayes Athletic Center in Columbus. I'm Brendan Gulick for Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. This is the latest for what's going on with Ohio State football as they continue training camp and their preparations for the 2022 season. Notre Dame kicks off against the Buckeyes on Saturday, September 3rd. It's just a couple of weeks away now, less than 3 weeks, in fact, until Ohio State starts their 2022 campaign. It was defensive line day here in Columbus, and so we had a chance to talk with Larry Johnson and with most of his defensive linemen. But we'll start with, unfortunately, the tough news right now out of the Woody Hayes Center, and that is that Evan Pryor, the second-year running back for the Buckeyes, is going to miss the 2022 season with a knee injury. He suffered that knee injury during practice yesterday, and unfortunately is not going to be available here for the 2022 season. Tough break for Evan, who is really coming on nicely. He was slated third in Ohio State's depth chart behind Travion Henderson and Mayan Williams. Obviously, he and Travion came in the same recruiting class and were both super highly recruited kids. And even Jack Sawyer today, as we spoke with the defensive lineman, made a comment about how much he has seen Evan grow year over year and how it's a really tough break for him. So we certainly wish Evan all the best as he goes through his recovery and surgery and rehab. Obviously, that's disappointing news. But we certainly have better news on the defensive line front, and I think it's maybe because this is looking like it could be one of the more excitable groups on the team. They've got a lot of depth. You know, last year we came into the season and felt like there were, two rising stars at defensive end in Jack Sawyer and in JT Tuimoloau. But, you weren't really sure exactly what you were going to get out of those guys as true freshmen, especially JT, because he came to Ohio State so late in the game. And you were, leaning pretty heavily on Zach Harrison and thought maybe Javonte Jean-Baptiste was going to be a really notable, player out on the outside. It sounds like he's having a really good camp, and so perhaps JJB is going to be a little bit more of a figurehead on the defensive line here this fall. But Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau in particular have had huge off seasons. Jack talked about how he put on a lot of good weight, and he looks like it. I am really excited about his ceiling and Tuimoloau's ceiling in particular. Zach Harrison said he finally feels like he got it this offseason and that he is ready to have a monster year. That's great news for the Buckeyes. But there was, there's rightfully so a lot of attention being paid on the interior of the defensive line. Devon Hamilton, his younger brother who is, shown that he can be a good player. Ty, I really like him, and Larry Johnson kind of compared Ty to his older brother. That's great news for Ohio State. I think a lot of people would love it if Ty played like Devon. Tyleik Williams had a great freshman year. Really excited about what he's able to do this year. There are a number of guys in the middle: Teron Vincent, Jaron Cage, guys that I think Ohio State feels like they can consistently cycle in and out of the game. The biggest takeaway I had from Larry Johnson today, he said he is used to playing 10 or 11 deep. He said, I think we may be able to go 12. Jack Sawyer referenced that they've been going 14 across in practice, and thinks there's a chance that maybe even more than 12 can get on the field. I don't know how much of that is Jack's optimism or not, but Coach Johnson really, really likes this group, and he said that basically the reason why he feels they're that deep is because these guys have different skill sets. Some of them are better at bull rushing. Some of them are a little more stuff the run. Some are better pass rushers. And the fact that he feels like he can mix and match different groups based on whatever they're trying to accomplish on the defensive side of the ball. He's expressed a lot of confidence in this group to be better than they were in 2021. And I think they need to be. That's where the toughness of the defense starts. We've seen improved linebacker play so far through camp, and I think the Buckeyes feel good about where their starters are in the secondary, maybe a little thin at corner, trying to develop more of that. But if you're not tough at the line of scrimmage, things like the Michigan game last year can happen. And I know that was a huge point of emphasis in the offseason. I specifically asked Coach Johnson how long it felt like it took him to get his entire position group, for lack of a better way to say it, caught up. Based on Ryan Day's comments last year of, hey, we missed spring ball 2 years ago, and all the developmental time that came in camp during the COVID season, and we had such a young team last year that missed those valuable reps. We needed to kind of get caught up with some of those things. And believe it or not, it's just now feeling like they are back to status quo pre-COVID. And Coach Johnson said this offseason was really, really important for this group. I asked if anybody stood out to him in the way that they took the biggest steps forward most quickly, and he said no, because the entire group did. It was a huge point of emphasis for this group to get better during the offseason. And, at least right now, they're expressing a lot of confidence in what their ability is and the way they think they can go out and compete really hard in the Big Ten and try to win a national title. So, across the board, I wouldn't say there was anything super notable that stood out from the conversations with Jack and JT and all the defensive tackles. Zach Harrison clearly is one of the leaders of this group. Tyler Friday elected a captain. The group certainly has expressed a lot of confidence in Tyler. It was great to hear from him. You just get the impression that this is a pretty hungry unit. They're not going to say anything that's going to be bulletin board material, but they really like where they're at. They like the way they've trained, and I expect substantially better play, especially from the interior defensive linemen here in 2022. So practice is closed to the media the rest of the way here. We will not have any media availability tomorrow. Thursday we'll be back in here and we'll have a chance to talk with Coach Dennis and with the quarterbacks. So we'll give you the latest update on C.J. Stroud. We'll tell you how Kyle McCord and Devin Brown are doing as they battle for that backup spot, which Kyle McCord seems to have a pretty solid footing in. But Devin Brown is trying his best to learn the offense and get acclimated, because assuming CJ is going to go to the NFL next year, Kyle and Devin are going to be the guys that are fighting for the starting job. I'm not trying to create a controversy. By all accounts, Kyle is the backup quarterback right now, but I think there's a lot of people that want to see development from Devin Brown because he's got a good skill set. So looking forward to hearing from all three of those guys and from Coach Dennis for sure on Thursday. Should be a lot of fun. I'm Brendan Gulick. Thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of the Buckeye Report. And as always, we'll give you all the latest news and info on the team over on Buckeyes Now on Sports Illustrated. We'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel here too. We try to give you as much video content as we can. We grabbed a bunch of videos this afternoon from all of these different guys. You can check out their press conferences here as well. See you soon back at the Woody Hayes Center.